United States, with entry points at hundreds of airports, harbors, and along a border of more than 100,000 miles, is protected by the Department of Homeland Security, including the Transportation Security Administration, the U.S. Coast Guard, Immigration and Customs Enforcement, and Customs and Border Protection, including the Border Patrol. This is Border Security, USA. The checkpoint at Falfurrias, Texas, sits on a main highway 80 miles north of the Mexican border. It's a route often used by illegal immigrants who manage to slip across the border and try to make their way deeper into the United States. Today, Border Patrol agents pull over a driver who's a U.S. citizen. On the front seat of her car, a child who appears to be passed out.
Upon attempting to speak to the child, they went as far as to, picking up her hand and dropping it to see if she would wake up. She wouldn't wake up.
Where is she from? You don't know.
The agent, when he asked the driver of the vehicle her relation to the child, she was hesitant. Immediately that aroused his suspicion.
Has that phone number? Can you get a hold of her?
I don't have the first one.
Is this young girl in some type of danger? Pre-dawn, JFK International Airport. Customs and Border Protection officers are tipped off to a suspicious passenger returning from a short trip to Colombia.
He bought his ticket the day before he left, and he only stayed in Colombia for 4 days, which is not consistent with a vacation. The passenger was from Dominican descent, had no family members in Colombia, so had no ties to Colombia at all. He's a U.S. passport holder. He was born here in New York.
Officers decide to search his bags.
After doing thousands and thousands of passengers, thousands and thousands of bags, you get to know what the weight of a bag should be, what the weight of a laptop should be. Once he picked up and noticed the weight of the laptop, he knew he was onto something right away.
The Rio Grande River forms a natural border between the U.S. and Mexico. Each year, hundreds of illegal immigrants risk these treacherous waters, trying to cross into the U.S.
The Mexican people think of the river as a place of death. They know that a lot of people have died trying to cross the river, so they are scared.
For Border Patrol agents, the Rio Grande poses a unique set of challenges.
You've got residential areas that back right up to the river. They'll cross, they'll go in the backyards. They can go inside a house and wait you out.
Agents are investigating a mystery that began unfolding the day before. 25 illegal immigrants were apprehended along the banks of the Rio Grande, part of a larger group that scattered and fled. Agents are heading out to find the rest before they disappear.
The group was about 30 to 40. They end up getting 25, so which means there's some outstanding aliens out there. So we're gonna go start tracking those guys and see if we can find them.
New York's JFK International Airport. More than 12 million overseas travelers come through here each year. Today, a man arriving from Casablanca has been sent to secondary inspection for questioning.
Okay, Mr. Hand.
The concern? A database shows there's an outstanding warrant for his arrest.
Okay, what was the purpose of your trip?
A vacation.
How long were you there for?
3 weeks.
Right now we have a returning United States citizen, and it comes up that he has a prior criminal record with a possible active warrant. Can you just tell me a little bit about the arrest? Did you say it was for drinking beer?
Most likely, and that's all I did.
Most likely?
That's all I do. I did then.
You pled guilty to a criminal possession of a controlled substance. Beer isn't a controlled substance.
Okay,
How many times were you arrested before?
I have no idea.
Well, that's what the warrant was issued. That's why the warrant was issued. Did you miss a court date?
I went to court for that.
Okay.
That was all I gave you a misdemeanor.
All right. Have a seat. This isn't going to take long. It's just a matter of verifying the warrant and seeing it. It's a 1994 warrant, so I don't know what they're going to do with it.
That was taken care of. And last year.
Sir, please have a seat, and I'm going to verify that. Once we verify it, then you'll be okay.
Last year.
It may well have been verified.
September.
Okay.
16th.
Can I just let me make the phone call, please? Okay.
Please.
All right.
11-hour flight.
Okay, I understand. He was arrested for criminal possession of a controlled substance, and he was arraigned on the criminal possession of a controlled substance in the third, which was a Class B felony. So we're going to call up and see if it's still active, and they'll let us know whether or not they're going to come pick him up.
This is wrong. Kidnapping. So people in other countries, not America.
At JFK International Airport, A U.S. citizen returning from a trip to Casablanca has been detained because of a possible active arrest warrant.
I have to verify if the warrant's still active. So what I'm going to do is call up Queens Warrants, and I'll speak to an officer over there, and they'll let us know whether or not they're going to come pick them up. How you doing? This is Inspector Roser at Kennedy Airport. I'd like to verify if the warrant's still active.
So do me a favor. Sit down. We'll stand up in the back over there, okay? You can't stand in the middle. Thank you.
Nobody's telling me why I'm here. They just came and grabbed me when I gave my passport. I said, wow. If somebody tell me why I'm here, they should tell me why I'm here. Just come with me. Kidnap me. Took me to another country, not America.
Okay, it's not active. Have your name, please? Okay, thanks a lot. Have a good day. Okay, Mr. Hand, come up, please. Okay, sir, I called up and I verified you're free to go.
11 hours.
I know. Sorry about that. Thanks for your patience and welcome back. Sorry about it. It wasn't taken out of the system. It may very well have been taken care of, but sometimes the record doesn't get updated, so we still have to make sure.
Okay, I'm out of here.
Back in Falfurrias, Texas, Border Patrol agents try in vain to waken a young girl lying motionless in the front seat of a car. The driver of the car says she has no idea what's wrong with the girl and offers no information about her identity.
Where's she from? You don't know. Can you wake her up? She's not asleep.
Finally, the little girl opens her eyes. Agents take her and the driver into custody for questioning.
Alien smuggling cases at the checkpoint are every day, all day, all shifts.
¿Qué te dijo? ¿Más actuaba como si estás dormida? ¿Venías dormida? ¿No te dio?
What happened with the little girl is she was coached, things that she relayed to us or things that she was instructed to say.
¿Con quién debes acá? ¿Esa señora quién es?
No la conozco.
She knows exactly where she's going. It's just a matter of leaning on her a little more.
No juegues conmigo, por favor. ¿Ok? No te hagas, por favor, ¿ok?
En serio, te estoy diciendo. No sé nada.
Finally, the driver of the vehicle pulled the agent to the side and said, look, let me tell you the truth. She's not mine. I'm getting paid to transport her to Falfurrias, Texas.
¿Dónde te iba con la ropa? ¿300?
No me olvides de 300.
Her lack of experience is what prompted her to just come clean. She knew that she was caught. She knew she wasn't going to fool anybody.
With the woman admitting her intentions, the agent's concern now turns to something even more critical: finding this child's parents.
¿Quién te vas a quedar acá? ¿Tu mamita acá? ¿Dónde? ¿En Houston? ¿Dónde? ¿No sabes qué ciudad está? ¿Sabes el número de él? ¿El número de teléfono de él? ¿No te lo acuerdas?
With no leads, agents must devise a plan to find her parents. At JFK International Airport, CBP officers are checking the bags of a U.S. citizen returning from Colombia. The first thing they notice is that some of his electronic items are suspiciously heavier than they should be.
We opened up the first bag. We saw 2 battery packs, which looked like they belonged to a computer. We noticed they were a little bit heavy. You can see it immediately as he's getting it open. Right away, you can see the silver packages. What we're doing now is going to put some of the powder substance in this test kit. This battery pack contains heroin. And all that foil is going to contain heroin. This whole package here. After the battery packs, Officer's daughter retrieved the camcorder. It does turn on. It does work. Put a probe on the top of the camcorder. You can see the aluminum foil packages on the top of the camcorder, which is also all heroin. Now we're going to pop open the screen on the computer. Immediately when you open the computer, you can see the foil. The entire screen is going to be a foil package, and all that foil is going to contain heroin. This top part is just one package, one full sheet, and then they cover it with the foil.
The suspect is taken into custody on drug charges. His case is turned over to Immigration and Customs Enforcement. It is still under investigation.
It'll probably be close to 2 keys or 2,000 grams of heroin. It's pure heroin before it's cut up, so the street value could vary, but it should be up over $1 million on the street, possibly more. What Officer Dorn is doing now is he's taking pictures of the seizure. He's taking pictures of all the different concealments. After the seizure is processed, we put together what's called a concealment report. We send it to ports of entry all over the United States, and hopefully the information from this seizure will lead to other seizures in other ports.
In the Rio Grande Valley sector, Border Patrol agents are heading out to search for 10 illegal immigrants they suspect crossed into the U.S. the day before and are still hiding out in the arroyos along the river.
There's some fresh mud coming out of the river. 1 or 2 minutes away when the sensor went off. So they should be right in front of us. They're moving pretty fast though, so we'll see if we can catch up to them right now. We got a couple other units. They're gonna try to prevent the aliens from getting picked up. We got 1 unit up on the highway, and we got a couple other guys on the ground. If they know that we're following them, they're gonna get off the trail, and they're gonna hide in the bushes here. They might just be hiding in here somewhere.
Detroit, Michigan. The Ambassador Bridge, linking the U.S. to Canada, is the busiest northern route into the U.S., with more than 4 million cars driving across it last year.
My name is Chris Waltarski. I'm Customs Border Protection Officer. Today it's a Saturday. It's real busy out. What we like to do is go out. It's called pre-primary. It's before they enter these booths over here. We call the dog up because there's a lot of traffic. Hopefully get lucky and get something big.
An officer was approached by a young lady who was en route to the United States, and the officer noticed some discrepancies in her story, and the canine officer alerted to the spare tire.
Hey, Paul, hard as rock. It's got to be loaded.
Right now, her behavior is kind of speculative. She's playing the, what's going on? What are they talking about? Is there something in my car? She's claiming she doesn't know what's in her car. She's claiming she doesn't know why she's back there.
Oh my God!
Can you get it? It's probably heavy.
It's heavy. We lowered it. It's really heavy. Not a lot of air. The tire doesn't even match the size of the tires on the vehicle.
And we're gonna go ahead and see what's inside if it's still up. So hopefully it's a low. See what happens.
In Detroit, Michigan, trouble at the Ambassador Bridge that links the U.S. to Canada. Customs and Border Protection officers have a woman in a holding room and the spare tire of her SUV on the ground, about to be sliced open. The suspicion? It's packed with drugs.
I can smell it. It smells like marijuana. There you go. Terrible.
This young lady came across, nervous behavior, crappy story, tire doesn't even go, and look what you got, a loaded marijuana tire. This is our high, this is what we're shooting for. Catching a bad guy, and this is what we did today. Perfect.
This is, the slang for it here is BC bud, which is British Columbia marijuana. It's known to be grown hydroponically indoors. Very potent, high content THC. A small amount of this could equal, triple or 4 times the amount of your stereotypical Mexican marijuana. Once it crosses the border, double or triples in price.
So right now, you're being processed as a drug smuggler, okay? Just relax. I know.
So in a few minutes, we're going to turn her over. State and local Hamtramck task force, and they're going to take her to their facility and process her there under state and local laws.
The suspect pled guilty to possession of marijuana with intent to distribute and was sentenced to 1 year probation. Back in Falfurrias, Texas, a woman has admitted that she was paid $300 to drive a young, undocumented girl to a secret location in the U.S. Now, agents are hoping to get one more critical piece of information: the whereabouts of the little girl's parents.
We need to find this little girl's mother. I mean, what we have right now is we have a 6-year-old girl in a strange country, and we have no idea. Of all the millions of people that live in the United States of America, we have no idea how to get hold of that little girl's mother. Do you have grandchildren?
Yes.
Would you like your 6-year-old grandchild just dumped in Guatemala somewhere? Well, that little girl finds herself dumped in the United States right now. Yes. El número que te lleno es una Alabama.
¿Hello? Ya me tienen detenida aquí. Migración. Yo y la niña.
Es el papá. Bueno. Buenas tardes. Mira, aquí tenemos su hija. We just wanted to assure him that we had his daughter, she was in good hands, and she'll be placed in a suitable facility.
Since this checkpoint is 80 miles north of the U.S.-Mexico border, there's no way to prove that the woman smuggled the child into the country. She could have been hired to pick up the child on the U.S. side and give her a ride to meet her parents. The woman is released since there's no law against accepting payment from a parent to do that.
Dile que a tu papá que estás bien, ¿ok? Que no te pasó nada mal.
Hello?
kids are the innocent ones in this. They're the helpless ones. They're not making decisions for themselves. They're in a tough situation, and we're going to make arrangements to house the child until an immigration judge can make a determination as to her status.
The little girl stayed at a nearby state juvenile center while authorities carried out an investigation. It was revealed that the child's mother lives in El Salvador and her father is a legal resident of the U.S., living in Alabama. 3 weeks later, the girl was reunited with her dad. McAllen, Texas. Back along the banks of the Rio Grande, Border Patrol agents have fanned out and are combing the dense brush, searching for 10 illegal immigrants they suspect are hiding out.
If they know that we're following them, they're gonna get off the trail. They might just be hiding in here somewhere. Hey, Romeo 34, we're not too far behind you. We'll be there in a few minutes. Got one of the units that has 8 aliens in custody right now. They should be up here. What do you got?
They were about 20 yards off the little bridge. The radio blasted and they saw me and they booked it back south. This guy tried to cross for Arizona 15 days ago.
15 days ago?
15 days ago.
¿Usted cuánto le pagó al contrabandista para que lo pasaran para acá?
Pues de $2,000.
¿No ha oído usted que el río es bravo y,
Sí, sí.
puede usted ahogarse allí?
Sí, señor, lo he oído todo esto. Usted sabe que uno lo hace por así que por superarse la vida, ¿verdad?
Entonces, ¿está usted dispuesto a arriesgar su vida para venirse a los Estados
¿Qué
Unidos?
hacemos, señor?
¿Está bien todo, señor? ¿No anda herido, nada?
No, mojado.
¿Mojado?
Sí.
No, ahorita se seca.
Todo mojado.
Todos, throughout the years, you know, you feel sympathetic, but at the same time, you don't want to show any weakness because if you show weakness, they will take advantage of that. Usted dice que lo agarraron hace 14 días.
En Phoenix.
Ok. Dígame usted lo que vio ahí cruzando por Phoenix, usted.
Cruzando hacia las montañas, estaba una señora con sus 2 babies. La mitad de carne, ¿sí me comprende? Y la mitad de esqueleto. En una roca estaba un señor ya puro esqueleto.
What is it that goes through your mind when you see stuff like this?
Pues sí, se entra poco de nervio, pues sí, poco de nervio. Uno sigue adelante, sí.
It's pretty tragic that they live some pretty bad lives. It makes us appreciate what we have when we see these aliens coming in like this.
The illegal immigrants will be transported to a Border Patrol station, fingerprinted and processed. Prosecution will be determined on a case-by-case basis. If no charges are brought against them, they will be immediately returned to Mexico. At Denver International Airport, Transportation Security Administration officers have a strange situation on their hands. A woman trying to gain access to the secure gate area, not with a valid boarding pass, but with a letter she claims was issued by the Department of Homeland Security.
She was trying to use that letter to get into the checkpoint and to the sterile area to do a mystery shop at some bar on one of the concourses.
You ever heard of secret shoppers? I was hired to just kind of monitor a bartender for an hour without them knowing I was there and report back to them this evening.
TSA officers quickly determined that the letter is authentic and that the woman has security clearance, but only for her day job as a cargo shipper, not for moonlighting as a secret shopper.
We determined that it was a letter issued by the Department of Homeland Security allowing this woman unescorted access to cargo at her freight facility. It doesn't give her access anywhere at Denver International Airport.
And by trying to use it for that purpose, the woman may have landed herself in hot water.
Right. Possibility, it's a federal violation, circumventing security possibility. I need to go over the regulations, speak with supervisors and managers to determine if there was a violation. Not necessarily. We'll review all the facts. I'm going to give you my card.
No, this is wrong.
Okay. And
I can't even do my job now. I just want to leave.
At Denver International Airport, this woman was caught by Transportation Security Administration officers using a letter from the Department of Homeland Security to try to access a restricted area, a possible federal violation.
I didn't violate any law because according to the TSA, which is under Homeland Security, I have passed the background check.
Would you like to know more about what I mean by violation?
No, I don't like that word.
Okay, it's a civil process, okay? And you're not going to get a violation without having
Is my boss going to see? Because I could lose my job.
The letter will be sent to you if there is even a violation.
We have to treat everybody the same and assume that there may be a threat there because that's to the benefit of, the flying public.
You know
know, I'm glad security works, but they need to clarify to the people like me that have these ID numbers and background checks and testing that this applies to one area, not the other.
I completely understand your frustration. I do.
I don't like to get in trouble. I'm a good girl.
Like I mentioned, potential violation. It doesn't necessarily mean that one occurred today. It may not even be.
Absolutely, you will have the chance to organize an administrative hearing and, tell your side of the story.
Well, I'm not going to tell my side of the story. I'm going to shout it.
Well, you have my card,
job,
so
guys.
if anything else comes up, give me a call, okay? Thanks, Christine.
Thanks, Christine.
You don't even know how bad. I've never been in trouble. I got speeding tickets, but that's it.
Whether she knew she could bring the letter through, I have no idea. But the fact is, we did what we needed to do, and we possibly prevented, some kind of a security incident.
TSA later determined that Christine had not violated any federal laws, and no charges were filed. San Bernardino, California. The Fugitive Operations Team of Immigration and Customs Enforcement is mobilizing to carry out a search.
Yes, sir.
Their mission? Find a man who has ignored his final deportation order.
This individual we're going after is one of our fugitive targets. Went through the process of immigration proceedings, and an immigration judge ordered him removed from the United States. Well, we do have a warrant, so we're going to see if Mr. Casino's at home right now. They said that all the vehicles are in the driveway, and it does appear we're going to do a door knock.
Police! How you doing, police? Come to the door, please. Come to the door, please, police. Got movement in the house, you guys be aware. How you doing? Good morning. We're conducting investigations. Okay, we come in? Thank you. You got consent. Who else is in the house with you right now, sir? Your kids?
Yeah, my wife.
Your wife? Any other males, adults living here with you? No?
The suspect's brother is cooperative, but the suspect's sister-in-law has locked herself inside the bedroom.
Somos agentes federales. Si puede abrir la puerta, por favor.
Apresor, que tiene el motivo de atrás.
A dangerous situation is growing even more tense as officers suspect the fugitive might be hiding in the room with her. Chicago's O'Hare International Airport. 2 U.S. citizens are returning from a vacation in the great outdoors of Mexico. CBP officers want to have a closer look at their foul souvenirs to see if they're illegal.
These birds are hunting trophies. A hunting trophy is an animal that's going to be mounted for display.
I have all the birds mounted at my house, and the wife's okay with it. They're hard to find, those kinds of wives. The ones that we brought in today, they're called Gould's turkeys. Those birds, they're weighed over 20 pounds. When they were, we don't have the meat's not with them, it's just feathers.
Let me make a call for you. I got one of my calls in my
Oh, yeah, make a call for
Does it work on your women too?
You're married.
The concern with hunting trophies is if the animal has picked up a disease in the originating country, a disease that we do not have here, and one that can affect our production agriculture, we have to presume that these hunting trophies are infected with that disease. And they're specially handled, and they go to a special facility, they're properly disinfected and made safe, and then when they're released into commerce or they go into the hunter's home, we know that there won't be an accidental introduction of a disease.
The men paid $180 in fees for Fish and Wildlife agents to process the turkeys.
It's gonna be hard to leave.
Gobble, gobble, gobble.
The Federal Express facility in Memphis, Tennessee, as miles of conveyor belts carry and sort packages bound for destinations all across the U.S. CBP officers screen them for illegal goods they might be concealing.
We probably only have about 20 officers on duty. Those 20 officers last year were able to seize 600 pounds of cocaine, I want to say 40 pounds of heroin, 150 pounds of opium. It's a game of cat and mouse. Someone's hiding something from you and you gotta find it.
And as they well know, people come up with some pretty creative ways of hiding things. An officer pulls a package offline containing 3 paintings.
We see a lot of narcotics coming out of the Dominican Republic coming to the United States, so based on that, we're going to take a better look at it.
As the paintings are x-rayed, Officer Clark is looking for any signs of tampering.
It looks like the frame's been hollowed out and filled with something. We'll take this into our testing room and see what we come up with.
Has something been artfully concealed inside this painting? At the FedEx facility, Customs and Border Protection officers are taking a closer look at 3 paintings that might be hiding something illegal.
Looks like the wood was hollowed out. Drill goes in for these, and these produce a white powdery substance. Looks like we have some tool marks right here. It's another good indicator that this frame's been tampered with. We'll open this frame up so y'all a better look at how this is packaged inside. There's something inside the frame, just like rolls. And indeed tested positive for MD and ecstasy. Being framed, so pretty good seizure.
All 3 paintings contained ecstasy pills. Total street value, over $50,000. Meanwhile, in San Bernardino, ICE officers are at a standoff and growing increasingly concerned that a fugitive wanted for defying a deportation order could be hiding out in a room with his sister-in-law.
Señora, no nos vamos a ir hasta que usted abra la puerta. ¿So habla?
Espera, porque no lo aguanto, no tomo la puerta. Abre la puerta.
The startled woman finally opens the door.
Mira, usted puede salir, por favor. Señora, sálese del cuarto.
After searching the house, officers determined that the suspect was not there.
Brothers agreed to come with us and show us where he lives at. That's his brother's car. He's using this house as a drop address. He parks his vehicle here, but his brother's gonna move to San Bernardino. Agradezco mucho que está comprando y que nos está ayudando a hablar con su hermano. ¿So aquí?
Sí, ahí.
¿Qué bueno?
Abre la puerta.
There's no answer at the door. Suddenly, an officer spots 3 people bolting out the back of the house.
Let me jump.
I saw some movement coming out the back door, and I had 3 subjects flying out of there, so we went over the wall.
Let's go around, let's go around, let's go around. Hey, cover the front, Val, cover the front.
He was kind of playing it off like he was gone, and then used that little opportunity to try to run away out the back fence.
What do we got? Back to the res?
Yeah, welcome back to the residence.
Officers who were chasing the 3 people on foot have caught them.
An officer knocks on the door and someone starts running. It makes me very suspicious of what's going on.
The juveniles are questioned about their relationship with the fugitive, Gabriel.
What's your dad's name so I can call him, man?
It turns out one of them is his son, who claims he doesn't know where his father is.
You don't know where your dad works?
The juveniles don't offer much help and are released.
We will most likely come back to this individual's house, set up a surveillance, and wait for this individual to come home. We're not going to go away. His warrant's not going to go away, so he's going to have to look over his shoulder every day.
Early the next morning, ICE officers are staking out the fugitive's home. Suddenly, an officer alerts the team that someone is slipping out of the suspect's house.
We waited until he went mobile in his driveway, and at that point, we ID'd the individual. We placed the target in custody. It was a good day. You know, we got our target. Took a while, a lot of legwork, but we're persistent, and it pays off.
We're just going to process him in, execute his warrant of deportation, and this evening he should be back in Mexico.
Tengo muchos niños como para echarme ahorita, tengo 6 niños que mantener. Luchar por ellas, me tocó que me agarren, ellos están haciendo su trabajo.
Bottom line, crime is crime, and that's what our job is ultimately, is to bring them to justice and make sure justice is seen through all the way.
Officers with the TSA and Customs and Border Protection go out of their way to treat everyone the same. But it seems like not a day goes by that some traveler doesn't ask the one burning question.
What if I was like rich or old or super famous? Would you do the same thing?
Absolutely. Everybody gets treated the same. Celebrities get asked the same questions. If they have anything to declare, and we look at the declaration just the same, and we treat them the same. We may have a better smile on our face because we've seen a celebrity, but it's all the same treatment.
Football great Tim Brown appreciates the TSA team.
They have a tough job dealing with so many different people, but at the same time, you know, they have to do what they have to do. So I try to remember that when I come in here. It's a very tough job. One of them is the minister of my church, so I have to be very nice to him. So. You guys can't say we get special treatment. You see this, right?
I actually passed myself the bill that created
the Department of Homeland Defense and the TSA. And a lot of these people know that. And they say, well, this is the guy that created my job. I'm going to pat him down anyway, because that's their job.
The Southern Methodist University basketball team receives a technical for traveling without an ID.
No driver's license, no passport, like no identification. Get ready to get undressed.
There's no proper mission over here, okay?
Oh my God.
I don't know if you're gonna. Let's see, can you get in there?
That's real. What was that?
It's air.
Is there? Oh, I'm freaked out.
At LAX, Matt Grant, the star of TV's The Bachelor London Calling, is being questioned about whether he's coming to the U.S. for business or pleasure.
In The Bachelor, were you being sought as a date, or I've never watched the show, so
Nor did I, but you are.
Huh?
I haven't seen it either, so that you are.
But were you actually on The Bachelor?
Yeah.
People were trying to get a date with you?
Yeah. How'd you believe it?
Okay.
Yeah, they were fighting for me.
As far as Customs Border Protection goes, they're still subject to the exact same scrutiny that any other passenger would receive. So we try to be democratic.
Yeah, thank you very much. I really appreciate it.
Okay.
Buffalo, New York. CBP officers never know what type of strange situations they might find themselves in, and how they'll handle it when they do. Today, a woman dressed in her bathrobe is trying to enter the U.S. Oddly, she's carrying only a large collection of DVDs.
What are you going to do with all these DVDs?
Watch them.
Watch them?
Yes.
Are you working in Canada right now?
No.
Do you have an address?
Yes, I have an address.
Who do you live with at this address? Parents? Family? Friends?
Family.
Do they know you're here today?
What kind of question is that?
Basic question.
Do you ask all these people these questions?
In this situation, yeah. We're just trying to establish where you're going to, ma'am, and you're not really giving us answers. You're kind of being evasive to us.
In my card ID. It got my address.
Does that tell me who you live with?
Yes.
Where were you planning on going today?
To the church.
Basically, we're just trying to establish what her intentions are. Does the church know that you're coming?
Yes.
When did you contact the church?
Not long ago.
How long do you plan on staying in the U.S. on this trip?
As long as I can stay.
How long do you plan on staying?
I don't know for sure. I want to talk to the pastor, and I want to see the Chinese people in the church that I met before, because I want to be a missionary in China.
How are you going to provide for yourself when you're in the States? Food-wise and things like that?
I'm going to the church.
Okay. And the church is going to take care of everything?
Yes.
Everything?
Everything.
She didn't have any clothes, any money. She claimed she was going to New York City. She's basically going to be refused, and we're going to make sure she gets back to Canada safely. No.
Can you do me a favor? Can you take your hat off? Take your hat off. Take it off.
Why should I take it off?
Go and take your fingerprints.
No.
Yes.
No.
Yes.
No.
Yes.
Step forward, have your fingerprints taken.
I'm not having my fingerprint taken.
Back in Buffalo, it's an unusual standoff between CBP officers and a Canadian traveler who's stubbornly refusing to be fingerprinted.
I'm not having my fingerprint taken.
Okay, ma'am. In order for you to go back to Canada, your fingerprints must be taken, okay? To make sure that there's no warrants, no warrants out for your arrest. That's all this is. If you have nothing to hide, there's no problem here.
I will not.
All we ask is you please be compliant, have your fingerprints taken.
You already got my fingerprint taken.
You gotta do it again every time you come.
Exactly. Okay?
To avoid this tense situation from escalating any further, a supervisor decides to skip fingerprinting the woman.
In this situation, we kind of backed down a little bit for her safety and us, the officers. We just decided to forego the fingerprints and get her back to Canada. What we're going to do now is we're going to give you a ride back across because the bus is gone. The bridge is too far to walk. So we'll give you a ride across the bridge back to Canada. Okay?
Yeah.
Okay. Basically, the officers just escort her back to Canada, and they will talk to the Canadian authorities to make sure that she's just not left there, and they kind of seek her to make sure she's okay in Canada. All right, have a safe trip.
Border Patrol agents screen thousands of people every day, and most pass by without incident. But today in Falfurrias, Texas, a surprise encounter triggers a range of emotions for one agent when he finds himself having to search the bags of someone from his past.
He went to high school with me, so makes it a little bit weird. Well, I asked him what he did after high school, and he said he's just been roaming around, doing a little bit of nothing. So he admitted straight to having the possession of the marijuana.
Well, me and that Border Patrol guy, I just seen him in high school. I guess he went the right way and I went the wrong way.
Yeah, he graduated here before me. Yeah, he's older now. He's been in prison prior, so I had to find out what else he has prior to that.
Arson. He has burglary of a vehicle. What's the most time that you served, man?
27 months. I was in prison. It's been a while since I got locked up again. I just gotta deal with it now, you know. I'm just thinking about how much my bail's gonna be.
Basically, you can be charged with possession of marijuana with intent to distribute.
I was gonna make some money. I wanted to, you know, I needed to make money. But I lost money instead, and my freedom. The way dreams, I guess you can say, they're just ghetto dreams, I guess.
It was 14 pounds of marijuana. The value was going to be at 11,800.
Yeah, it's a pretty big load for a personal carry.
The suspect pled guilty to possession of marijuana with intent to distribute and was sentenced to 2 years probation.
Business.